Alright, hi there. Welcome to Motion Reel Academy's Beginner Overview course for Gravity Sketch 6.0. My name's Andre Bruni, and this is Part 2, Settings, References, Prefabs, and Layers. Alright, let's get into it. To bring up the menu, to look at the settings and other tools, on your non-drawing hand, click the blue button. That opens up this menu. On the left-hand side, there is a bunch of different tools. The first tool is called the File menu. This tool we're going to go over in the very last video of this course, so I'm going to skip this one for now. The second one is Settings menu, this cog wheel. This menu is separated into 4 sections: Drawing Aids, Settings, Environment, and Beta. First, we're going to look at Drawing Aids. The first of the Drawing Aids is the Mirror tool. Here is where you turn the Mirror tool on and off. When it's on, this icon will be blue, and you'll see a transparent plane in the middle of your drawing area. You'll also notice that your drawing hand is duplicated on each side of the mirror. Everything on the side of the mirror that you're drawing on gets duplicated on the other side. There's also some options to the mirror menu that I want to go over before we move on. First, the mirror style. Here, you can change the style of the way the mirror looks. Now I'm going to turn the mirror tool off, and you can see when I draw that it does not mirror it anymore. This tool here. This is the vertical orientation tool. When you have this turned on, the entire world stays level. When you turn it off, you're able to skew your environment in any direction. Now this is handy when you want to work the underneath of something, or if you want to get more detailed on how you're looking at a model. I like to keep it this way unless I need to move around my model. This button, when you click it, it takes you to the home spot, which is located just above the floor. This button will take the entirety of everything you have drawn on the screen and fit it so that you can see everything. This is the grid tool. When you turn this on, you'll see all these little dots appear. There's some settings for the grid tool. Grid density. Right now it's set to the widest density, so here if I start drawing, you'll see that it snaps to these points. If I turn the grid density up, you'll see the points become smaller and closer together. These to create perfect steps. Now let's take a look at some of these other options here. First, Smart Move. Smart Move is turned on for me all the time, but by default it may be turned off like this. You should turn it on all the way, and this is how Smart Move works. You move your drawing hand over an item to select it. Then you take your non-drawing hand, put it underneath, or a parallel to, like this, the drawing hand, and you'll see the line for the axis that you are facing pop up, this green line. Now when I grab this, I can only move it along the green line that's shown here. You can also do this on the other axis. So if I wanted to move it only on the red line, I select this object, move my non-drawing hand parallel until the red line pops up. When the red line pops up, I grab this item, hold down the grab button, and move it around. And here, I can now move this along only this axis. While you have this hold down, if you hit the trigger button, it will make a duplicate of the item, and it'll also step and repeat at perfect increments, the same distance away from each other. Now let's take a look at surface contours. When you turn surface contours on, and you have an object that has subdivisions, and you turn it on, then it shows you where the subdivisions are. The world axis, here's the world axis right here. Green is Y is green, X is red, and Z is blue. You can turn that on and off right here. I like to keep it on. Next up, we'll take a look at the stage floor. Turn it on, and you get a big white stage floor. This does not actually exist as geometry. It's just there to help you get oriented. I like to make my own floor. All right, that's everything in this whole panel. We're going to move to the next one. Here, then we turn on Ghost Move. Ghost Move will show you the item where it was before you move it. Return after copy. This also, I don't find it very useful. It just snaps the item back after you copy it. I guess you can get used to working in this mode, but I don't like it because I end up with an extra copy that I don't need. So I like to turn it off. Controller visibility. This changes the visibility of your controllers. This changes you from right-handed to left-handed. So if you're left-handed, this is where you change it. The next up we're going to go look at is the environment. Here, this is where you can change your whole environment, the way things look here. First up, we have the presets. When you choose a preset, it'll change the whole environment. Maybe this one, where we're inside of a warehouse, it just changes the shadows and the look of the whole drawing environment to give you a different feel. You can also turn the shadows on and off. You can turn the floor grid on and off. I like to keep it off. It's just a distraction, but it kind of looks like a video game. Here is the HDR. Now you can see on an object with a chrome applied to it, you can see a reflection of a background here. That's the HDR. And this really helps out when you want to smooth out your geometry, and you can see how the reflection actually gets distorted when the geometry is not exactly perfect. So here, if I take this and move it back to where it belongs, you can see that the HDR, or the actual reflection, looks normal again. Here you can also change colors and set up custom backgrounds and all kinds of cool stuff here. The final item is the beta. Here is where you turn beta stuff on and off. I like to have everything on. So my grid I have enabled. The contextual measurements I have enabled. Here they have a new web browser feature, very cool, where you can type in stuff. You can actually break this off here for you at any time. And you can also take pictures and do all kinds of neat stuff with it. It's one of the coolest new features that they have. So that's the web browser. Then we have review mode. And here you can set up a mode where you can actually show people stuff with a laser pointer. Reference images. Reference images, you can bring any images that you want into Gravity Sketch as references. They have a bunch of references already in a reference library that you can check out, a bunch of textures and all kinds of other stuff that you can just bring right in and play around with. To get back up a level to the folders, you go and choose this icon. This takes you to the top level. Here I'm able to put stuff on landing pad of my own and bring it in, like my Motion Reel Academy logo. I want to bring that in. Here it is. This is a PNG image with transparency. So anything with transparency will come through into Gravity Sketch and you can drop it right in. Next up is prefabs. Here they're just pre-made models that you can drop in. There's only a couple of them, but they're really handy. Humans. You can bring a human in, these mannequins, and these are great for, doing anything human related. You can bring them in small size like that, or you can drop them into this green box, and they'll come in full size. So this is one of the most handiest tools that they have in here. You also have a bust that you can do clothing with if you're working on fashion. They also have a head, so if you want to design some cool glasses, here's where you do that, right here. And then you can turn that also on and off so you can see your glasses. These glasses would be actual size. There's also a car that you can add, car chassis. So if you're working on a car, you can bring in a car chassis the exact size and use this as a tool to design your car with. Finally, we have the layers. Here, you control the layers of your scene. So if you're familiar with Photoshop, this should look familiar to you. But to make new layers, you choose this button, and that makes a new layer. Now, this layer is selected because it has a purple line around it. Any layer that I have chosen that's actually selected is highlighted here. So if I'm on layer 4 and I start drawing, this item is on layer 4. So here, I can lock it so that I'm not able to touch the items on this layer. There's also an opacity slider, so I can turn down the opacity of this layer. You can also move the layers around in the stack. To move things from layer to layer, you grab the item like this. Once you have it grabbed here, and you can then put it in any layer by moving it to that layer. When it turns green, you let go of the grab button. It snaps back to its original position, but now it's on the new layer that you chose. So in this case, this item is on layer 3. When I move through the layer stack and select them, you'll see that anything that's on a layer that I've selected will highlight in red. There's also this button which will isolate the layer that you have selected. So if I want only to see layer 3 and nothing else, I can isolate everything else. Everything else is gone except for this, but it's only temporary. I turn it back on and everything comes back. Alright, that's it for this video. Stay tuned for the next one. Thanks for watching.